There is an instinct embedded deep within us, a reflex that feels as natural as breathing. When questioned, we explain. When challenged, we justify. When misunderstood, we labor to clarify. We believe that if we can just find the right words, assemble the perfect logical sequence, and present our case with enough sincerity, then the walls of resistance will crumble, understanding will dawn, and we will be seen. This impulse is not merely social. It is a cornerstone of our identity. From childhood, we are taught that explanation is the bridge between minds, that reason is the ultimate currency of human exchange. We are rewarded for articulating our motives, for laying bare our thought processes. To be reasonable is to be good. And so, we build our lives on this foundation, convinced that our worth and our strength are proportional to our ability to make ourselves clear. But beneath this seemingly civilized surface lies a different, colder truth. An unspoken rule of power, psychology, and social dynamics whispers that the very act of explanation, when deployed indiscriminately, does not fortify your position. It weakens it. It does not build bridges. It surrenders territory. This is not about becoming inscrutable or dishonest. It is about understanding the hidden mechanics of perception, the psychological games that begin the moment you open your mouth to justify, and the quiet erosion of authority that occurs each time you feel compelled to make another person understand your reasons. To grasp why this is so, we must first look at what explanation truly is, beyond the dictionary definition. It is not a neutral transfer of information. It is a social transaction, laden with unspoken hierarchies and unacknowledged power plays. When you explain yourself, you initiate a subtle but profound shift in the dynamic between you and the other person. You move from a position of self-containment to one of seeking validation. The very structure of an explanation implies a need to be approved of, to be acquitted, to be absolved from suspicion or blame. You are, in effect, handing the gavel of judgment to the other party. You are constructing a courtroom in which they are the judge and jury, and you are the supplicant, pleading your case. Observe the posture of someone explaining. There is a leaning forward, a widening of the eyes, a certain vocal cadence that seeks agreement. It is the posture of persuasion, which is inherently the posture of someone who lacks the power to simply be without persuasion. The content of the words matters less than this underlying signal. You are broadcasting that your stance requires their endorsement to be legitimate. You have made your internal state contingent on their external validation. This is the first and most fundamental weakening, the transfer of interpretive authority. Consider the psychological landscape of the person receiving the explanation. Unless they have specifically asked for clarity with genuine neutrality, their mind is not a blank slate. Often, a demand for an explanation is not a search for truth, but a test of boundaries, a probe for weakness, or a prelude to negotiation. When you comply automatically, you confirm their right to interrogate your reality. You teach them that your actions are negotiable, that your decisions are committees, and that your time and mental energy are available for their audit. More subtly, you trigger a phenomenon rooted in deep cognitive bias. The more reasons you supply, the more you invite scrutiny and counter-argument. The human mind, when presented with a justification, instinctively looks for flaws. It is a survival mechanism, a way to assess reliability. By providing a lengthy explanation, you are not putting doubts to rest. You are offering a target-rich environment for new doubts to be born. You have moved the conversation from the what, your decision, your action, your boundary, to the why, which is a bottomless pit of subjectivity. There is a magnetic force in silence, in the unexplained action. It creates a gravity of its own. A decision that stands without scaffolding appears more confident, more considered, and ultimately more powerful. This is because we attribute intentionality and competence to that which does not seek our approval. We assume a depth of reasoning that we are not privy to. In the absence of explanation, the observer's mind is forced to work. It may concoct stories, but often those stories grant you more authority, not less. They assume you have reasons so solid, so self-evident, that articulating them would be superfluous. Think of a general who issues an order. He does not explain the tactical intricacies to every soldier.
The lack of explanation is not a lack of reason. It is an assertion of hierarchy and a conservation of strategic focus. The order draws its strength from its finality. In everyday life, we are not generals, but the principle holds. The friend who says, "I can't make it," and leaves it there, projects a different substance than the one who delivers a 5-minute monologue about conflicting appointments, transportation issues, and prior obligations. The first statement is a fact. The second is a negotiation, an apology in disguise, an opening for the other person to say, "Well, can't you rearrange?" This touches on a critical point, the conflation of explanation with politeness. We are taught that to refuse without a reason is rude. But examine that belief. Why is it rude? It is deemed rude because it denies the questioner the leverage to challenge your refusal. It places your autonomy above their curiosity or their desire. Politeness, in many cases, is a social lubricant designed to soften the exercise of personal power. When you choose not to explain, you are opting for clarity over lubrication. You are choosing the friction of a firm boundary over the smooth, yielding surface of negotiable compliance. This does not mean you must be brutal. A simple "no, I won't be able to," delivered with calm finality, is not an insult. The perceived rudeness is often just the other person's surprise at encountering a wall where they expected a door. Their discomfort is not your responsibility to manage through self-compromise. The over-explainer is, at heart, someone trying to manage the emotional state of others, to avoid the brief flash of their disappointment or confusion. In doing so, they mortgage their own time, energy, and position. Let us delve deeper into the anatomy of a demand for explanation. Why did you do that? Why can't you come? What made you choose that? These questions are rarely as innocent as they sound. They are often territorial. They are a way of asserting jurisdiction over your behavior. In the workplace, a colleague demanding extensive justification for a minor decision is often performing a power move, establishing themselves as an auditor of your productivity. In personal relationships, constant demands for explanation are a form of control, a way to keep you accountable to their emotional ledger. Every time you furnish a detailed response, you are acknowledging their jurisdiction. You are saying, "You have a right to audit my life, and here are the books." The alternative is not defiance, but a quiet recalibration of the relationship's architecture. It is answering the question behind the question. The question behind "Why are you leaving early?" is often "Are you shirking your duties?" or "Do you think you're special?" A direct answer to the why, "I have a dentist's appointment," only engages with the superficial frame. A response that addresses the unspoken concern, "Everything is on track for the deadline," or a simple non-deflective statement, "I'm managing my schedule appropriately," reclaims the territory. It answers the meta-question without submitting to the interrogation. There is immense power in allowing a silence to hang after you've stated your position. That silence is where your strength consolidates. When you state a no or a "this is what I've decided" and then say nothing more, you create a vacuum. In social physics, vacuums are always filled. The weak person rushes to fill it with noise, their own explanations, justifications, and emotional clutter. The strong person allows the other party to fill it, and what they fill it with is telling. They might fill it with acceptance. They might fill it with their own discomfort, which they then have to own. They might reveal their true intentions by pushing harder, exposing the demand as the power play it is. Your silence, your refusal to explain, acts as a mirror. It forces them to confront their own motivations in the reflection of your calm non-compliance. You are no longer dancing to their tune. You have stopped the music. This is unnerving to those who are used to the dance of justification. It is also profoundly respectful to yourself. It communicates that your internal processes are valuable, private, and not subject to casual withdrawal. The compulsion to over-explain is frequently a symptom of a deeper psychological wound, the fear of being misunderstood and the catastrophic belief that being misunderstood equates to being unlovable, rejectable, or bad. We carry within us a child's magical thinking. If people really knew our reasons, they would approve. The hard truth adulthood teaches is that people often disapprove precisely because they know your reasons. Your reasons are a window into your values, your priorities, your fears. They provide ammunition. The colleague who knows you left early for your child's play might not think you're dedicated.
The friend who knows you declined an invitation because you need quiet time might think you're withdrawing from the friendship. Explanation opens up your inner world for evaluation, and evaluation is rarely your friend. It is far safer and stronger to let your actions stand on their own. Let people misunderstand the motives if they must. They will do so anyway. You cannot control the narrative they construct about you in their minds. What you can control is how much raw material, your vulnerabilities, your private logic, you hand them to construct it with. Think of the most authoritative figures you have encountered, real or fictional. They are not the ones who hold meetings to justify every decision. They decide, they act, and they move on. Their power is compounded by the mystery of their reasoning. We attribute to them a larger plan, a deeper wisdom. This is not about cultivating a false mystique. It is about understanding that total transparency is a form of nakedness, and nakedness is not a position of strength. In nature, creatures that are completely exposed are prey. In human affairs, the psychologically exposed are vulnerable to manipulation, criticism, and social predation. Your reasons are your strategic center of gravity. Guard them, not because they are necessarily secret or shameful, but because they are yours. They are the source code of your autonomy. Distributing that code freely makes your behavior predictable and your levers of influence obvious. There is also the sheer practical cost of explanation. It is an enormous drain of mental and emotional energy. Every justification you craft is a piece of yourself you expend. It requires you to revisit internal debates, to relitigate internal debates, to translate intuitive knowing into linear logic, a process that is often clumsy and reductive. This energy is finite. The more you spend on justifying your path to others, the less you have to walk it. The mental real estate occupied by crafting and delivering explanations is real estate taken from creation, from reflection, from forward motion. The over-explainer is often stuck, running on a treadmill of self-justification, wondering why they are so exhausted, yet getting nowhere. Their energy is dissipated outward in a radial spray of words aimed at placating the periphery of their life, rather than being focused inward and forward, propelling their core objectives. Furthermore, explanation often backfires by diminishing the value of what you've done. An artist who explains their painting to death robs the viewer of their own experience. A leader who explains every strategic nuance undermines the team's sense of being entrusted with a mission. In personal life, a gift accompanied by a long story about how hard it was to find becomes less about the gesture and more about the effort, invoking obligation rather than joy. The action, in its pure form, has a potency. The explanation can act as a solvent, dissolving that potency into a cloud of context and excuse. Your no is a clean line. A 5-minute explanation is a frayed rope. People will grab the frayed ends and pull. This principle finds a chilling reflection in the realm of power dynamics and negotiation. The first rule in any negotiation is to listen, not to explain. The party that speaks first, that offers justifications for their position, is often the party that reveals their weaknesses, their desperation, their bottom line. In a conflict, the person who feels compelled to explain their anger, their hurt, is already at a disadvantage. They are trying to make the other person understand their pain, which is a plea for empathy. The person who can state their position without exposition, "This is unacceptable," holds the psychological high ground. They are dealing in consequences, not in causes. They are framing the reality, not begging for a revision of it. Explanation in these contexts is a form of supplication. It is the language of the weaker party appealing to the reason or the mercy of the stronger. But we must navigate a crucial distinction here. This is not an advocacy for silence, for obstinacy, or for the abdication of communication in relationships that truly matter. The rule is not never explain. The rule is to understand the hidden cost of explanation and to choose when to pay that cost with deliberate strategic intent. There are moments when explanation is not only appropriate but vital, when you have made a genuine error and owe someone clarity and accountability, when you are in a collaborative partnership and shared understanding is the goal, when you are teaching or mentoring. The key is that in these situations, the explanation is offered from a position of strength and choice, not from a reflex of defensiveness or a fear of disapproval. You are dispensing information, not seeking validation. The tone is different. The energy is different. It is a sharing of context, not a plea for pardon. The journey towards weakening the explanation reflex begins with awareness. It starts by noticing the physical sensation that arises when you're challenged or questioned. That tightness in the chest, the quickening of the pulse, the heat in the face. It is the trigger for the justification cascade. In that moment, there is a space, a sliver of a second, where you have a choice. You can follow the ancient neural pathway of explain, defend, please, or you can try a new one. You can simply let the question hang. You can offer a minimal, non-negotiable statement. You can answer a different, better question. This feels unnatural at first. It will feel like you're being rude or cold or arrogant. That feeling is the ghost of the weakling you are leaving behind, protesting its demise. It is the echo of 1,000 social conditioning sessions telling you to be agreeable, to be understood, to be liked.
Real strength lies in the capacity to tolerate that discomfort, to withstand the temporary confusion or displeasure of another person in order to preserve the sanctity of your own will. It is the understanding that you are not a public corporation required to issue statements and reports to every stakeholder. You are a sovereign entity. Your reasons are your own. Your time is your own. Your energy is your own. The more freely you give these things away in the form of endless explanation, the poorer you become. The more you can serve them, the richer and more formidable you grow. This is not about becoming a mystery to others. It is about ceasing to be a mystery to yourself, about knowing your own reasons so deeply and so privately that you no longer feel the anxious need to have them validated by an external chorus. Your life becomes quieter, cleaner, and directed by a far more potent internal compass. The noise of justification falls away, and in that silence, you can finally hear the sound of your own purpose, and you can begin to act from it without apology and without explanation.